Queenie's Card of the Month Live for December 2019. Wahoo! So I almost wrote November. Like I want to relive November again already. That is really a fun little light over here. Let's see if we can. There we go. That might be a little better. I had to fix that for my YouTube live video. I'm doing both at the same time. So with YouTube, I'm looking you, Facebook, you in the eye. And YouTube, now I'm looking you in the eye. Very exciting. Nobody watches the YouTube ones yet, so might as well just do it anyway, right? So, the camera is bouncing because follow the bouncing ball. It's not going to stop. It's just going to keep bouncing. Maybe it'll stop. It's slowing down. Anyway, so we're in December of 2019. 2019 is almost over, and I know everybody's saying that. Everybody's getting all excited about that, I suppose. But what a year. So much has happened in this last year. I mean, I feel, at least for myself, that it has been a year of change and a lot of opportunity. You know, some struggle, yeah. Working through a lot of really, hi, Marianne. Hello, Laura. But working through a lot of old things, old wounding, old outdated patterns and ways of responding to things. That's kind of what this year has been about. And rather than having them come up and having me want to shove them back down or blame somebody else for them, a lot of it, I'm, basically owning my shit. And hopefully other people have been experiencing that too and sees that as something that's positive, as opposed to placing blame on outside sources. And I am not talking about taking everything on, like everything is your fault. Like I'm not like taking everything that happens on. I'm talking about owning your part of it. Like owning your part of being written. My phone is on a stand, like a selfie stand, and it's bouncing. No, now I'm bouncing. But anyway, taking ownership for your part of what has been created, for your part of whether a relationship is breaking down or not breaking down or whatever. You are kind of, every time I wave at people, I'm going to make the phone. So I'm not going to wave, but I'm going to wave like this. Okay. So, but this is what I've been learning is, okay, so I have this recurring pattern in my life, this recurring pattern in my relationships, my friendships, or my romantic relationships, or my work life, and I'm having to really look at what those patterns are and how I am contributing to them, like what my part in it is. And not taking ownership of what the other person's part, because that's their shit. That's their responsibility. But my responsibility for it is how I'm going to respond to it, and whether I'm going to set a boundary or not, or how am I going to get over it without becoming the victim, without having to be the victim. That doesn't mean that there aren't things that happen that, you feel like you're the victim of, but the things that you don't have to be, there's plenty that you don't have to be, that we have a tendency to just automatically go there. So that's what I've been learning all this year. And it's been pretty crazy and good and rewarding. And I feel more, hi, Carrie. I feel more, more grounded in myself than I ever did before. And so that's been 2019. So now let's get to what the cards for December of 2019 are. And now I'm having a hot flash. So, the sweater's coming off. It's cold here, but it's not really as cold as it is in a bunch of other places. So I won't complain too much about the weather here. But when it's in the 40s and you're here in California, it's freezing. And it's been kind of rainy, but it's winter, and this is just how it rolls, you know? Okay, so I'm going to pull the Fairies Oracle card for December 2019. I have a feeling I'll pull another one at the end of this reading, just because I feel like I'm sensing that it's going to need to have bookends. Okay, so the first Fairies Oracle card that I'm pulling for December 2019. Oh, interesting. Okay. All right, so this is on Facebook Live, and then I'm going to kind of go out a little bit so that I can do the YouTube Live as well. This is Mick the Myomancer. Okay? Mick the Myomancer, he's one of the little brownies, little pixies guys. And basically what he does is he pays attention to all the details. He does all the detail work. And I know we had Fee the Lion either last month or the month before. And that's about paying attention to the details. But this guy goes even further into them. This guy goes not only to tie up the loose ends. Hi, Josh. And Carrie and Bridget. Liliana. Anyway, not only does he pay attention to the details, he dives into the details. So this month, because it's the end of the year, you might have a lot of things thrown at you that are going to require you to make sure that you cross your T's and dot your I's and your punctuation is correct or whatever. And you like that, how I'm saying be careful, and then I go, or whatever. Anyway. So Mick the Myomancer, he has a tendency to plod very slow because he digs very deeply into the details of a situation. So there's something that's coming up this month that a surface perusal will not do. Let's just put it that way. There's something that's coming up this month for people that you will not be able to just gloss over. The reason you will not be able to gloss over is because it is a completion. And, whether or not you believe in the Gregorian calendar or whether you believe your, New Year's was November 1st or whatever, February 1st, whatever time that you believe the new year is or calendar year is, regardless, if you ever used that calendar, there's a sense of completion. And if you understand with the seasons, there's a sense of completion. There's kind of death and transition that happens in winter. Everything dies for a little while so that it can come back up in spring. And so Mick the Myomancer is saying that it is possible that this month we need to kind of allow it to do that and kind of dig deep into the details of that. Maybe dig deep into the details of what you are being asked to let go of. What has outlived its usefulness, and not do it surface wise, because this feels like this let go that's happening at the end of this year, at the end of December, and maybe the beginning of January. This let go, this is a real deep let go. This feels like there's something that we've needed to let go that's been a long ass time coming, and it's time to let it go. But we have to let it go on. Sometimes when we let go of things, we can just cursory let it go. Okay, fine, I'm out of there. But when we have this card, Mick the Myomancer, come up, this means that there are so many layers to this thing that we're needing to let go of at the end of the year. This way of being, this relationship, this selling a car, make sure that all your things are, whatever it is that we're having to let go of at the end of this year. It is so, hi Damaris. It is so important to look at the details of it so that you make sure that you're letting all of it go, so that there's no more, so you don't have to revisit at all. So if this is an old pattern that you are ready to let go of, this particular card, Mick the Mayamancer in the Fairies Oracle, is asking you to look at the details of that. And maybe December asks you to slow down a little bit so that you can look at the details of, okay, this old pattern, this affected this part of my life, 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 and this part of my life. And oh, darned if it didn't affect that part of my life too. These are all the things that you would have to let go of, that you would have to, I'm sorry that my camera bounced, but my knees hit the table. Anyway, but so pay attention to the details of what you're letting go of, because you can't, it's almost as if you're pulling a bandage off, but the bandage that you're pulling off, part of the gauze stays stuck. So this guy, Mick the Mayamancer, is saying, okay, take it off slow so you can make sure that you get all the gummy stuff off so that you don't have to deal with it anymore. And that's kind of basically what it is. And I've talked a lot longer about this card, but it just felt really important. The information felt really important that it's coming out. So let's see if the other cards that I'm pulling are going to support it or completely go in the opposite direction. Then you can watch me scramble and tie them all together in some sort of story, because that's generally what I do. Happy December. Okay, so the next card I'm going to pull is going to be the Spirit Cat cards. And then we're going to see if they have something to say or something to support that kind of deep, detailed letting go. Because, you've been in situations before that are so many that you're tied, like a relationship that is tied into your business or this or that, or your house, your money is tied together, paying attention to all the details, making sure nothing can come back and bite you in the ass later. It's very, very important. It's a normal thing to do, but this particular card is talking about this month being that. So let's find out what Spirit Cat will talk to us about. Let's see. Oh, did I get this before? So cute. No. Okay, so this Spirit Cat is vision. Okay, very interesting, because the details, you're supposed to kind of expand your vision and deepen your vision to see all the details that are supposed to be seen. But this kitty is vision. Meet Stargazer. Some say her head is in the clouds, but the view is better from up there. She can see the big picture beyond our normal sight. She can see beyond small increments of time. So see here, this is kind of the opposite of what Mick the Biomancer does. What did I tell you? Anyway, she can see beyond small increments of time to the vastness of years, decades, and even eternity. So she sees the details, I just got a tooth pull last week, and I am going to, I don't know why you don't have any sound. I am going to have a little bit of a lisp, I guess. It's pretty fun. Anyway, so take a step back and see your life through Stargazer's eyes. What visions do you have for your life? They might appear fuzzy or absent if you're afraid of the actions that they are calling you to take. Acknowledge those fears, then ask them to step aside like parting the clouds until you are able to truly see. Let your visions be a beacon calling you forth. So in the midst of all these details and trying to make sure that you're really completely letting go of the things that it is past time for you to let go of and all the details of them, part of the way that you can do that, aside from digging deep into the details, is also have a good balance of looking above, looking at the bigger picture. So you can kind of, if you stay in these little kind of micro step-by-step details, sometimes you have to step back and look at the bigger picture so that you can see the overview of it. And then you can see the details of, like when you see the overview of something, you can see the patterns better, like the grid of what's connected to what, so that you can make better decisions for yourself. Anyway, so now we've got Mick the Myomancer, and we've got Vision as far as that kitty card is. All right, so I'm going to do something fun. And even though I have told you before, when I've used the New Wave Tarot, I don't like, I must be too distracted by the musicians on them and whether or not I feel like they correspond with what the card is, but we're going to do it again anyway. I like to keep giving it a chance because they're kind of cool cards. So let's see what the New Wave Tarot says. Oh, Jeff, isn't it your birthday? Happy birthday, Jeff. I think it is, or it was yesterday. Well, it's one of these times it was your birthday in the last couple of days. All right, so New Wave Tarot. Okay, what is the card for December? What do we got? Ooh, got the Hierophant. And who is the Hierophant, we might ask? Nick Cave. Nick Cave is the Hierophant in the New Wave Tarot, which is kind of interesting. I kind of like that. That kind of works because he's kind of a symbol of, well, the Hierophant is about conformity and nonconformity. It is the 5, so it's about adventure and travel and learning new things and expanding your mind. But it can also be about dogma as well, and trying to, control your. It's like it's about primal urges, but controlling your primal urges. So here with the Major Arcana, I feel like they kind of go in this spiral cycle. So, so if you've got the Hierophant, which is number 5, we've just been through, hi, Paul. We've just been through number 4, which is the Emperor, which is building a foundation. So we've built a foundation, and now we can kind of launch off from that foundation within, I'm sorry. You know what? I bet if you listen to it later, Damaris, you'll be able to hear me. I'm so sorry. I don't know what to tell you. You've got some sort of setting on your phone or your computer that's making it so that you can't hear me. Anyway, so we've got Nick Cave, who's the Hierophant. So we've just went through the Empress time where we've built a foundation, and now we've built enough of a foundation that we can launch off from it and seek, higher learning. And the Hierophant is about that higher learning, but it's also about conforming and non-conforming. It's about travel, and it's about adventures of the mind as well as physical adventures, but mostly about adventures of the mind. So basically what happens is you get this secure foundation, and then you realize, okay, I've got a home to go to. Now I want to launch, So that's what Nick Cave is talking about. So let's see, how could it relate to the other cards? What do you think? So we've got pay attention to the details, but look at the big picture. And then we've got the Hierophant card. All right. Interesting. I am not sure, but it will get clear. Hi, Melissa. It will get clear as we go on. So it's not coming to me yet, but it's right there. It's kind of on the tip of my tongue. So we've got pay attention to the details, dig really deep to let go, pay attention to the bigger vision, like figure out where you're going, figure out the bigger path, and then you can sort out the other. And then we've got the Hierophant card, which is Nick Cave in the New Wave Tarot, and this is about kind of having an adventure. So maybe this is about the expansion that you will have the opportunity to take place. Maybe you've got to do some mental research first before you can actually physically do it. Hi, Josh. But maybe that's what happens. Maybe that's what needs to happen. So I'm going to pull another card and I'm going to see how we tie together here. Let's see. Let's look at the Star Tarot, the David Bowie Tarot, which is kind of fun. Yeah, I'm being all trendy, doing all the fancy tarot. I can't find, it's because I can't find my other one, my straight ahead one. That's okay. She's here somewhere. She's just hiding from me. Okay, let's do. So December, of course, is a month of letting go, and we're talking about all of that. Let's see. Who's coming out? Oh, 2. Okay. They're sticking together. So we're having 2, by the way. Let's see what we got going here. Interesting. Okay. All right. So the first card that comes out is this is the 4 of Pentacles. Okay. So I'm going to move it close to the YouTube so you can kind of see it. It reflects, but now I'm going to move it close here. This is the 4 of Pentacles. Okay. I mentioned the Emperor card. We didn't pull an Emperor card, but I mentioned the Emperor card, which is card number 4 of the Major Arcana. 4 is, again, about trying to build a firm foundation. Now, the thing with the 4 of Pentacles, though, is sometimes when we build that foundation, we're so afraid of letting anything go or expanding on it because we're trying to hold on to, we think that we have fought so hard for everything that we have that we need to hold on to it really, really tightly. Pentacles is about material things. It's about manifestation. It's about the earth and security. And 4 gets kind of stuck sometimes because they've built this and it was so hard to build it and they don't want to let anything go. But what they don't understand is if they don't move on to 5, where they kind of expand up a little bit, they're going to get either bored or lose everything because everything seems to mean absolutely so much to them that they're hanging on to it far too tightly. And the only way that you can grow as a human being is if you don't hold on to your stuff, whether it's physical things, whether it's old patterns, whatever it is that you're holding on to, you hold on to that too tightly and you're not going to grow as a person and you're going to get stagnant. And then things have to happen. Like, we haven't got it yet, but the Tower card has to come through and blow the shit out of everything so that you can move forward. And you don't want that. And that's not necessarily a threat, but it does happen sometimes when we're hanging on to things too tightly because we're so identified with our stuff, with our things, or with what we think is security to us. So the first card being 4 of Pentacles is to look out for that. Look out for, in paying attention to the details, be willing to let go of what doesn't serve you anymore. So that's the 4 of Pentacles. And the next card that came, then we go up. It's funny because we got the 4, which is the foundation, and then we go up and we've built up from the 4. We get the 8 of Pentacles. So they're both Pentacles. So this is really, there are physical things going on this month. There are physical things that represent your security and represent a level of potential stuckness if you're not allowing things to move that need to move, if you're hanging on to things that no longer serve you. Yay, you can hear it. But so we've got those. So maybe when you're looking at all the details and you get a little too caught up with your nose in the details of things, it would serve you to be able to step back, like the vision card, the cat card, the vision card, be able to step back and look at the bigger picture. Also, my tip for you, if you get very into holding on to everything that you have because you're afraid that it's going to be taken from you, remember another time in your life when you felt this same way. Chances are there was another time in your life that you felt this very same way, that you were able to get through. And part of what you were able to get through with it by, you were able to get through by, was by letting go of some of the things that you were hanging on to, because you realize in hindsight, those things weren't things that you really needed in the first place. And we don't know that until we look back, because, you know, hindsight is 2020. But sometimes it's important for you to understand that your life unfolds the way it needs to. And that it's constant. You're in a constant process of unfolding, whether you hang on to things like a fiend or not. You know, you're in a constant process of unfolding. Your life is unfolding right now. As we speak, your life is unfolding. And you can't stop that from happening. And no amount of hanging on to things. Sometimes if you hang on to things, it just makes you miserable. Now, I'm not saying that Eight of Pentacles is normally a card of hanging on to things. But Eight of Pentacles is a card about having been doing something for so long the same exact way that you almost do it automatic pilot. And that if you only kind of change things up a little bit, things would move a lot better. Because it kind of gets you stuck or bored even. So that's when you throw in like the Hierophant card, which is a number 5 card, which is that extra, like you've got the foundation and then boom. Or so the Hierophant graduates to the Hermit, which is another like higher vision, having to go within, having to isolate yourself, or feeling like you have to isolate yourself to go within. We haven't got the Hermit card. That's not what's happening here. But what's happening is that you may have been doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different outcome. So it's time to change it up a little bit. Okay, so let's go to another card. Let's see. And then I think I'm going to go back to the Fairies Oracle, because they just really want to talk to you about shit. Well, I want to talk to you about shit, but the Fairies Oracle, they are, let's just be honest, they're just speaking clearer to me. I'm getting information from them a lot clearer than the others so far. But maybe this deck, this Liz Houston deck, will blow my mind. You never know. All right, let's see. Nice. All right. The Knight of Swords. Really, look at him. The Knight of Swords. So at least it wasn't a Pentacles. I thought we were on a theme here. But Swords is about communication. It's about clarity. It's about cutting through the bullshit. It's about mental stuff. Knights have already learned, and they're taking their act on the road. So this month, not only is it about letting go, but you may have to set some boundaries with some people. You may have to cut some things loose. And it is very, very focused cutting loose, very focused communication, very forward moving communication, because the Knight of Swords, when you're a page, you're learning. So the Page of Swords learns new lessons about communication and about clarity and about how to get out of their own way and how to set good boundaries and everything. And the Knight takes what they've learned and moves forward with it. So what this feels like to me, and when I get this in people's readings or in my own readings for myself, is that we're coming to a month where we're going to get, we're going to come to a place of being more confident about our communications with people, and more confident about our boundaries that we're setting with people, and more confident about being able to cut through the crap so we can get clarity. And so that's really good. Part of that has to do with digging a little deep and then balancing it out with with being able to see the bigger picture. So I just really think that we're coming into a time where we're going to get balance of that and learning something new about the whole situation. Good old Nick Cave. And the and then just be on the I'm throwing cards now, like literally, like they used to say we used to throw cards. I just literally threw them. So then we've got the Four of Pentacles and the Eight of Pentacles, which is places that we get stuck, places that we get bored, places that we go on autopilot. This is what this feels like very strongly. So you're kind of being challenged not to go on autopilot. Like, yeah, you have experienced some of these things before. You feel like you've been here before. But why not change it up a little bit and take some different action so that you don't have to come back and be in this same place before that you were before? And totally bouncing my phone. I don't know what to tell you, but I hope I don't make you seasick. So, and then we've got the Knight of Swords, which is, talk about it, set boundaries about it, cut the crap, take your act on the road, cut the crap. All right. So let's do a little more Fairies Oracle. And then maybe I'll open it up to if you have any questions about any of the cards. And if you want to see them again and you have questions, I can see people talking when they are talking. Hopefully it's all current. So who is also going to help? Okay, so it's an extension of the Knight of Swords. Very interesting. And, oh, nice. This is what happens when everything gets all clean. Okay, so we've got He of the Fiery Sword. Okay, so He of the Fiery Sword is the masculine principle. In the Fairies Oracle cards, there's layers of fairy. There's like the brownies and the pixies, which are down at not necessarily at the bottom, but they're closer to earth because they're kind of the earth. And a lot of times the pictures of them are almost more earthy and black and white and not quite as colorful. And then we've got the ones in the middle, which are both of earth. And those are the fairies that are like the ones that Loscuna, my favorite, that has the frog legs and everything. And then we've got the ones that are almost like a little more light being, like himself and the fairy godmother. And then we've got the light beings, and this is one of the light beings. This is He of the Fiery Sword, the masculine principle. He is kind of an extension of the Knight of Swords because there we go. Now you can see him. He is, he's about focus. He's about really like getting the clarity so that you can really zero in and focus in on exactly where you want to go. Nothing gets in his way. And the masculine principle is, in a lot of traditions, it's the male principle, and we all have masculine and feminine within us. We're all kind of a conglomeration of both. Some lean more one way than the other, but there's a partnership. We all walk around with a partnership within us. Okay, so the divine masculine, it goes out and goes out and gets and brings back to the divine feminine. He's the gift giver. That's why in a lot of mythology, some of the gods were like the gift giver. Like Hades was the lord of the gifts. He would bring back the gifts to Persephone. Yeah. So anyway, this card, this is about getting clear. So this month, with the balance between looking at the details, digging into the details, stepping back, alternating between doing that and then stepping back and looking at the big picture and then the details, and then the big picture, making sure that you are not holding on to security because you're scared, being able to cut through the bullshit, being able to communicate and set boundaries. And as I said at the beginning, is because this is traditionally a month of letting go of the old and opening to the new, but also kind of sitting with things feeling a little dead for a little while. It gives you time to do this kind of detailed looking, and then the big picture looking, and setting all the boundaries and cutting through the crap so that you can move forward clear and unencumbered. Now, the outcome card, or the biggie help card of the Fairies Oracle that I pulled, is the fairy who was kissed by pixies. So ultimately, what this month is asking you to do is, yes, you'll have to look at some of the details so that you can be letting go of things on a deeper level, so that you're not dragging as much behind you when you let go, right? When you're not, so you're not dragging as much behind you when you're letting things go. You're looking at that, but also being able to step back and looking at the big picture so that you can see where those extra things connect to, so that you can make sure you really do a good cleanup. And there may be some boundary setting, there may be some clear communication that needs to happen so that you can get clear during this month. But the biggest helper, the fairy who was kissed by pixies, this is, to me, this card is about remaining open and receptive to all the love that the universe has to offer you. Sometimes we get very, very caught up in, this is what I know, this is what I know, this is all I'm going to know, this is what I know, this is what I'm going to know. And this month is kind of challenge you to release and let go of some of what you know, because it doesn't know you anymore. So there may be situations, relationships, things that just aren't working for you anymore. And you're literally in a position now to where you can see that it's holding you back. You can see the ways that it's holding you back in the small details, or even in the bigger picture, the patterns, the old patterns that you just keep recreating over and over and over again, that you don't want to recreate anymore. What if you could just cut through that crap and move past it and get clarity? What if you could do that? What if you could just by saying no to, no, not going to do that, to one little thing that could change the course of so many, So what would be so hard to do that? With the fairy who was kissed by pixies, this is, all she is open to love. So after all of this, after the letting go, after the figuring out what you don't need anymore, what you don't want anymore, what doesn't work for you anymore, it leaves you naked and open to be loved, for new. And all you have to do is open. And I'm pretty sure that there's going to, within the next month and a half, I'm making a prediction. I rarely do that, but I'm doing it now. So within the next month and a half or so, there is going to be something new coming into your life that is beyond the stuff that you were all, I know it is scary, but if you never open nothing ever gets new. If you never open to it, you're, you it's like this bit of carpet, this bit of rug that you keep walking on over and over and over again until you've worn a big groove in it. And for some reason, you have this belief that if you step outside of that one groove in the rug, that, you know, the whole world's going to end. And one day you decide to step off the groove in the rug, and you get this whole new vision of what your life could be like. And I'm encouraging you to get out of your rut, to step back and look at things from a bigger perspective, you know, to set the boundaries that you need to set. Cut, you know, I'm not even talking about other people's crap that you need to cut. You need to cut your own crap without picking on yourself. Just cut the crap. You know, how are the ways that you bullshit yourself every single day about what is possible for you, what is not possible for you, you know, what you're supposed to accept in a relationship, what you're not supposed to accept, what you're worth, what you're not worth. Cut the crap. You're worth more than that. So give yourself the opportunity to know that and understand that December is generally a month of, you know, it is a month of kind of death, but it's letting go. It's a month where the earth has to sleep just a little bit, because it's in this hemisphere anyway, because they're whole opposite thing in New Zealand. But in this hemisphere anyway, it's where the plants kind of sleep. Everything goes quiet for a little while. Oh, Jeff, I think that this will be a more obvious opportunity, but you are going to have to kind of be in tune to recognize it. But I think it's a little bit more obvious if you're able to get more clear by the end of this month. The more clear you are, the easier it will be for you to look at it. And as I'm saying right now, like, you know, cut your own bullshit. You know, there are lies that we tell ourselves every single day, that about what we're worth and about what's possible and about, you know, what we can create in our lives. And we need to stop lying to ourselves about it. We need to stop picking on ourselves and just open and receive the information when it is being presented to you, and it's going to be presented to you, you know, and understand that this month is going to be a month of letting go and getting clear and cutting your own crap, you know. And again, like, you're looking at details, but you're also having to look at the big picture, which shows you where those details, what patterns those details plug into that you're going to have to let go of. And I don't know, I mean, I always get a picture in my head of yeah, letting go is liberating. I know, like, from personal experience, that last year at this time, my whole life was beginning to change, and my life is really, really different from last year. And I let it happen. I decided, I made a decision. I can't even talk. Yes, I can. I made a decision last October that I wanted my life to change, that I wanted to live, that I want to really live, that I was tired of, you know, waiting to have adventures and to live and to make the changes that I needed to make so that I could be more emotionally healthy and more physically healthy. And just when I decided, things started to fall into place. And it wasn't easy, and crappy stuff happened, but also really good stuff happened as well. And I don't regret it at all. But see, maybe you don't have to wait. Even though waiting seems exhausting, maybe this is not about waiting. Maybe this is about allowing because waiting signifies that you're just going to continue to wait, like you're waiting for someone to give it to you. What about allowing? What about being in a place where you're allowing things to happen? There are times for really inspired action, which is kind of he of the fiery sword is about inspired action. I mean, you don't take it's about not taking action until you feel really inspired to do so. Till you feel like, oh yeah, my gut says yes, let's go. Or being in a position to receive, being open to receive. I just think it's kind of funny that the fairy who was kissed by pixies and he of the fiery sword, they kind of, so we're seeing representatives of the feminine energy that is happening for the month of December is more of a receptive kind of just open to receive, taking no action, just being open to receive. And the masculine energy is to like get clear and get focused on moving forward, but also stay open to receive. So we've got a lot of opposite themes going on. Pay attention to the details, but look at the big picture. Open to receive, but cut through and get focused so that you can move forward. And believe it or not, it's all complementary. It's not kicking things. It's all complementary. It's not kind of going against each other. They're all working together to get you unstuck. They're all working together to release any perceived boredom that you feel in your safety, in the places where it's kind of showing you the places where you had felt safe that really are going against your actual safety, that stunt your growth as a human being. I mean, some people are here to have these secure, stable lives. And generally those are the people that aren't necessarily going to watch this video. And other people want to know more, want to understand more, and want to feel like they're connected to more. And those are the people that would generally watch a video like I make. They want to understand themselves, why they respond the way they do. They want to understand, what the heck is going on with this energy here, And that's all the stuff that I want to understand as well. It's all the stuff that I desire to know and understand as well. The more that I can dive in and figure out at least explanations for life that make me feel empowered, regardless of real or imaginary. I don't know if fairies are real or imaginary, but I kind of like the idea of the energy of them, and I like the messages that they get, that I get from them. I like how it explains to me the way the world is when things are, we're being given all this information about how things are like, oh, it's really crappy. Ugh. Oh my God, look at the horrible things that are going on in the world. And yeah, there are, but the only way that we're going to be able to make a difference is to start in us. If we start by dealing with the chaos that is held in each and every single one of us, we can have the energy to make a difference out there in the world. And we can affect change just by being who we really are in the world. We can affect change just by doing that, by addressing our own chaos. We're never going to get rid of chaos within us because that's part of the creative process. That's part of the primordial ooze energetically that we're walking around in. We're never going to be able to get rid of it, but we can look at it and use it constructively so that we will have the energy to deal with the things that the good fight, the things that we need to look at in the world and help. So anyway, that's my fancy primordial ooze. I know, it's true, huh? Primordial ooze. So, guys, this is a good month. This is a good month for, you know, there's all kinds of stuff going on. And like I said, in the by the middle of January, there's some opportunities coming up. If you have been able to let go of the things that you need to let go of and been able to be okay with releasing some really old patterns that you've been carrying around for a long time. I know I'm ready. There's going to be opportunity for growth and movement and good opportunities coming up within the next month and a half or so. You know, your spring could sprung. That would be pretty awesome. I like when my spring sprungs. Anyway, so it is. Well, it's a big cleanup month. But make sure that you pace yourself. Okay. There's a lot of stuff going on. There's been a lot of stuff going on. This has been kind of a long year full of ups and downs and all arounds. And recover in December. Let go of all the things that just no longer serve you anymore. Think about, okay, who do I want to be in 2020? And allow yourself to release the things that don't serve you anymore, that don't serve that vision of who you are. Don't put so much pressure on yourself though, Josh. That's too much. That's a lot of pressure. It'll get done if it gets done. I know. It's true. It's true. And I, from the bottom of my heart, I really appreciate going, like I tried to say at the beginning of the video. I got a wisdom tooth pulled last week. And so my mouth is not doing what it normally does. My tongue gets to move all over my mouth in ways it didn't before. So it's just out of control. Anyway, I'm wishing you a wonderful December. Just make sure that you have a balance between looking at the little details and getting lost in them and looking at the big picture, and a balance between opening up to receive what the universe is bringing you with love and getting clear on what you want and moving ahead. Happy end of 2019, and we'll see you in 2020 with the card of the month for January 2020. This has been December 2019. We got a month, 31 days to sign off on December 2019. We're going to be in a whole new decade. I don't know if I should make a big deal out of it because I think, okay, next year it's going to be a year, but we'll see. I love you guys. Thank you for listening. See you next time. Thank you, Jeff. Happy birthday. Okay. Yeah. Oh, guess what? I didn't end the stream right when I needed to end the stream because I was pretending that I was on a touch screen and I wasn't.